لكن تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أسى محن تمر، وكم كرهت مصابها.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I recorded a video regarding the noble Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani Al-Hanbali Al-Athari, I think about 6 months to a year ago, right? And that was just highlighting how much of a nemesis he is to the Super Sufi / Ash'ari. Now, amongst the subcontinent Muslims, as I am of Asian background, Pakistani background to be precise, there has been so much exaggerations, ghulu, ta'assub, in relation to his stories, etc. And this video would highlight some of these fabrications that have been attributed to his name. And I've got a video due to come out regarding Al-Istighatha, very lengthy video. So as I would touch on this topic briefly in this video, there'll be a lengthy, like hour and a half, 2 videos coming out very, very soon. Now, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi was a Hanbali Shaykh, and who was Athari. Athari in creed and Athari in fiqh as well. And you could say the Athari creed, the Hanbali creed. So, who is Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani? What was his stances? What was his positions? Because, as I mentioned, I'm of Pakistani background. I swear the amount of lies and false attributions of statements to this noble Shaykh, it is diabolical. And it needs addressing. The Asian subcontinent has fallen into absolute extremes when it comes to Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. I'm not saying others haven't, but one can say that that particular part of the world have fabricated so much lies to the Shaykh, and the stories that they've attributed towards him, it needs obviously clarifying. Now, before I go into the quotes, let's just present what Ibn al-Kathir rahmatullah alayhi said about this noble Shaykh, and we're going to go into the video slowly, gradually, and it will get more reference based as the video continues. So as you can see in my hand, I've got Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya by Ibn Kathir. Now, as you can see on screen, Ibn Kathir mentions Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. Now, Jili is another word for Jilani. Now, Jilan is a province in Iran where Abdul Qadir's family originates from. And then it continues, says Abdul Qadir ibn Abi Salahin Abu Muhammadin Al-Jili. And again it continues on. So, summarize, he was born in the year 470 and he entered Baghdad and he heard hadith and he learned hadith, or he learned the jurisprudence from Abi Sa'idin. Let me just zoom in. Is he Mukharrimi Al-Hanbali? And then he continues, and then Ibn Kathir mentions something very important. He says, وَلَهُ أَحْوَالٌ وَمُكَاشَفَاتٌ. They used to have a lot of mukashafat, that, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to give the ability to have miracles. And he says, and his followers and his companions used to speak a lot about it. And they used to mention وَيَذْكُرُونَ عَنْهُ أَقْوَالًا وَأَفْعَالًا وَمُكَاشِفَاتٍ أَكْثَرُهَا مُغَالَاتٌ. That his companions and his, obviously, followers used to speak a lot about them, those miracles, which we don't deny, but they used to mention his speeches and his actions, and a lot of those mukashafatun, a lot of those sort of miracles that he used to have, a lot of them were mughalatun. And this is why I'm recording this video. I'm going to highlight some of the sort of lies attributed towards Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. And then he mentions that he was a righteous man, and he wrote a book called Al-Ghunya, okay, Al-Ghunya, which is disputed. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to present a statement from Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, which has been attributed towards him. Okay, so let me present that first, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani's actual book says. And once again, I repeat, it's not from Al-Ghunya. It's not from Al-Ghunya at all. And I'll be presenting statement after statement. So we're going to present the quote that has been attributed towards him, which is absolutely shocking. And then we're going to present all of his statements in a book that you can't claim has been interpolated. There's no idraj in this book, which I have been told anyway, unless you're going to come out with something else. Again, al-bayyinatu al-mudda'i, that the proofs of the claimant. I'm not making the claim. Whoever's claiming that the book's fabricated needs to back it up. Alright, so now let's go into the alleged statement that Imam or Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani or Jili mentioned. So as you can see on screen, we've got the book Sirrul Asrari wa Madharul Anwari. Now listen to this. I'm going to dissect this statement allegedly ascribed to Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. So I'm just going to go into it. So he mentions, whoever seeks istighatha with me, okay, whoever seeks aid, relief, help, be meaning with me, or if you want to translate it as to me, but we know obviously be means directly through him, okay, due to his worries and distress, this will be removed or eradicated. So remember, pay attention. Through who? Directly towards Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. Be meaning with him, okay. And then he mentions, if a person, okay, وَمَنْ نَادَ بِإِسْمِ, whoever uses my name in terms of a wasila, when he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, his need will be, his hajat will be done, it will be fulfilled. Okay, now come back to me now, before I go on into the next part. So the first part of this alleged statement, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani says that whoever seeks istighatha, but istighatha be, okay, whoever seeks al-istighatha through Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. Now Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani is talking about himself. So whoever seeks istighatha with me or through me. So that's with him directly, right? For his distress and worries. So remember, who removes the worries and the distress and the hardships and the stress, depression, anxiety? Who's the only one that can do that? That is a khasa'is of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani said, whoever has these worries and distress or hardships and does istighatha through him, be directly, it will be removed. So he has the ability to remove distress and worries. But then in the next sentence he says, whoever uses his name as wasila, as like an intermediary or as a means, and he pleads to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his need will be fulfilled, his hajat will be fulfilled. So the question to ask is, if Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani can remove the hardships and the distress and the pain and the agony and calls out to him directly, man istighatha bi, then astaghfirullah al-azim, I know it's a ridiculous question, but I have to ask it for those who believe in this. Then why would you need him as a wasila to Allah when he could do it directly? Well, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani is saying, allegedly himself, that whoever comes to me, man istighatha bi, whoever comes to me directly, and istighatha doesn't mean an intermediary, by the way, even lughatan, and even per the Quranic ayat, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions istighatha, it's never done through an intermediary. Never, it's directly. And we'll go into that in the istighatha video. That's why I would ask those who believe, the mustaghithin, who hold this view. It don't make any sense, right? Let's carry on. Now it gets even more shocking. As you can see on screen, it mentions, man salla raka'atayn, whoever prays 2 rak'ats, right? And after every rak'at, after the Fatiha, he recites Suratul Ikhlas 11 times. So he recites that 11 times. Where is this salat from? I don't know. But anyway, let's carry on. And after that, okay, you send salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam 11 times. And then you send salam to him, meaning Shaykh Abdul Qadir. This is Shaykh Abdul Qadir allegedly said this. And you mention his name, and then you mention your need. Okay, so you do all that. Pray 2 rak'ats or rak'atayn. You recite Suratul Ikhlas after Al-Fatiha 11 times. You mention Salawat al Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam 11 times. And then you send salam to Shaykh Abdul Qadir. And then you mention his name. And then you mention your need. Okay? You mention your hajat. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would complete and would accept it, inshallah. And in another riwayah, it mentions that you take 11 steps towards the direction of the east, nahwa qabri. Okay, so basically meaning he's great. So Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani is saying this way he's alive, so obviously he's towards the east, Iraq, Baghdad. And then, or 7, it says here as well, أو قال 7 خطوات, that basically 11 or 7 steps, depending on the riwayah, okay? And you mention me, okay? You mention me, and what happens if you mention his name and you mention your hajat? This will be fulfilled or this will be complete, okay? So coming back to me. Oh, there's another riwayah as well. So there's different riwayats that if you start singing in the sheet, and he obviously mentions that the one that basically oppressed himself in the dunya, and you are my aider, and it carries on, etc. I don't want to go into that, but as I said, that's coming back to me now. So a lot of information to take in, right? So Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani has allegedly said, okay, there's different riwayats, by the way, different riwayats. If you pray 2 rak'ats, you recite Surah Al-Ikhlas after Fatiha 11 times. You send salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam 11 times. You send salam on Shaykh Abdul Qadir. You mention him. You mention your need. It will be fulfilled. The second riwayah mentions that after doing all of that, the last bit was you to walk towards Baghdad, okay, or walk towards the east, facing his grave, okay, or towards his grave, and then after doing so, I can't even remember now. There's so much information. Yeah, after doing so, or even 7. So it's 11 or 7. And then after doing so, you mention me, okay, and then you need. So you're facing towards Baghdad, and then whilst facing towards Baghdad, 11 steps or 7 steps, depending on whether you're north, east, south, or west, depending on what side of the world you are, then you obviously mention his name. So you have to say Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani or Jili, and then you mention your needs. So what I'm going to do now is show you that this is a batil, absolute fabrication towards Shaykh Abdul Qadir. And then after showing you the proof that it's an absolute fabrication, I'm going to show you his actual quotes from his own work. And he's not Al-Ghunya like I've been saying throughout the video. So let's carry on. So as you can see on screen, okay, I'm going to pace through this because I want to get to the main part. We've got Tariq al-Islam, okay, and this is by Imam al-Dahabi. This is also narrated by a scholar called Nuruddin. And what does Imam al-Dahabi mention about this guy, okay? He's talking about this individual, and he mentions that this individual wrote a 3-volume book, okay? He wrote a 3-volume book regarding the life of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, okay? And in it, he basically got everything that is good, everything that is weak, and everything that is lies and fabrication. So he took everything and placed it in this book. Okay. Then Imam al-Dahabi rahmatullah ends off by saying, فَإِنَّهُ كَتَبَ فِيهِ حِكَايَاتٍ عَنْ قَوْمٍ لَا صِدْقَ لَهُمْ. He mentions that in the particular 3-volume book he wrote, that he wrote in it stories, okay, from the people that is not truthful at all. Okay, he's wrote so much stuff. This particular scholar, by the name, and he's a Qari by the way, so we don't deny that he's not a scholar, Nuruddin al-Shatnufi, okay. Now as you can see on screen, we've got the book from Ibn Hajar, Ad-Durar al-Kamina, okay. Ibn Hajar mentions that this individual, Shatnufi, mentions some very odd and strange things in his book. Now this book is Bahjatul Asrar, okay, this is the book, and where the other book that Sirrul Asrar, the one I quoted, mentioned all of these riwayats sort of and pieced them together. And he mentioned some strange things and odd things in his book, and the people have criticized most of the stories that are related to this. But he was, and in terms of the Asanid as well, and he was a Taqi scholar, he was a person who had taqwa, and he obviously was a Qari as well. Now, look, coming back to clear that this is an absolute fabrication. What is this? That, you know, after Fatiha, you recite Surah Al-Ikhlas 11 times, send salawat 11 times, and after that you mention me, and then face towards Baghdad and take 7 or 11 steps, and then mention him again, mention Abdul Qadir, Shaykh Abdul Qadir, and mention me again, and then mention your need, and your need will be fulfilled. And then in another aspect, he's saying that, look, whoever wants to make istighatha through me, you know, for his distress and hardships and worries, and, you know, it will be fulfilled, whoever does that. And this is khasa'is lillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only he can remove the stress. Only he can remove the worries. Only he can remove the anguish. No one else can do that. This is only Rabbul Alameen who could do that. So let's now go into the book of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani himself, okay? Let's go to the book. Let's hear his own statements, rather than what someone has attributed towards him. As Ibn Kathir says, Mughalatun, Ibn Kathir mentions, Dahabi mentions about this Shatnufi, and about Ibn Hajar, what he mentions about him, and adding all sorts of, you know, weird stuff, odd stuff, and the Asanid, etc., etc. So let's go into it. Now, I haven't heard that this book's apparently been fabricated, by the way, but it probably will be after this video. So let's see what he says. Now listen to this, what Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani says. He says, do not fear anyone, etc. Don't fear anyone. And all of your needs, listen to this, all of your needs are to who? Are to Allah Azza wa Jal, and request it from Him. To who? To Allah. He didn't say come to me. This is Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani's direct books. Then he mentions, do not trust anyone apart from Allah Azza wa Jal, and do not rely upon anyone except Him. Subhanallah al-Azim. Then he mentions at-Tawheed, at-Tawheed, at-Tawheed. He mentions at-Tawheed 3 times. Subhanallah al-Azim. And then what does he say? And then he says, everything is Tawheed. Everything is united upon Tawheed. Before I continue, so you got his direct statements from his book that you believe is not being interpolated. Okay, Al-Ghunya is, maybe this book after today will be interpolated, right? But right now, it's not being interpolated. So you've got direct statements from Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani saying what he said, okay? With numerous statements. Then you've got books that are attributed towards other people who have alleged that Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani said this. Absolute fabrication, and we presented what Al-Dhahabi said, Ibn Kathir said, Ibn Hajar said, etc. So you tell me what statements are authentic towards Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, or authentic statements from Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. I know the subcontinent, and obviously I have Pakistani background, there is ghulu, there is extremism, no doubt about it, fanaticism, but you cannot attribute lies towards the noble Shaykh. And even, look, the Mustaghithin need to realize that you're playing with fire. It's dangerous territory. Uqsum billahi al-ali al-azim. Anyway, let's carry on. So Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani says, Ya man yashku ila al-khalqi. Those who complain, or those who, complain about their distress and their hardships and their agony towards the creation. Okay, those who do that, i.e. like the Mustaghithin of today, they can't give you benefit nor take harm from you. Then Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani says that if you rely upon them, then you have set up partners or committed shirk in this particular bab of haqq, okay? And then he says that you will be distant, okay? And you will get the anger or the wrath, okay, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then what does he mention? Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani mentions that they will place a veil of you, you ignorant one, and you claim knowledge when you are doing, because of your ignorance, what are you doing? You are complaining to the creation. This is Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani saying this. Would you say that what Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani allegedly said in the book Sirrul Asrar or Bahjatul Asrar and all of these lies and fabrications, do you want to take that, or you want to take Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani's own statement when he's calling him Jahil, you ignorant one, etc., etc., you're complaining to the creation? This is Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. This is Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. And I'll say it again, this is Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. He's refuting you Mustaghithin. Let's carry on. I haven't stopped. Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani says, Rahmatullah alayh, seek istighatha from Allah Azza wa Jal and aid from Him. Not from himself, from Him Azza wa Jal. Clear that Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani did not utter those statements that the Mustaghithin have ascribed to him, right? Have ascribed to him. And this is absolutely diabolical. So I'm going to end off by asking a question, right? Recently, I've just returned back from Palestine. Allah accepted from us. And outside Masjid al-Aqsa, you see various people, requesting charity. And I came across a sort of poster or a board or a placard. And as you can see on screen, it says, Aghithu Mard al-Ghazza al-Fuqara. That help and aid the sick or the poor sick people of Gaza. Okay, and it says, Aghithu. Give help and give aid to those sick, poor people of Gaza. Aghithu. Okay? Now, what I'd like to ask is this. Okay, we have the ability to provide aid, relief, assistance to Ahlul Gaza. May Allah aid them against the aggression of the Sahayana. So basically, no one should have an issue with this. Even the hardcore, Salafis shouldn't have an issue with this. Why? Because we are able to assist them to the best of our ability, whether it be by providing them support financially, sending medication, and those who are in power can obviously, reconstruct whatever damage has been caused by the Israelis, by sending their contractors, etc. So there is ways that we can help them and aid them and assist them. So the question I'd like to ask is, and as you can see on screen, the statement of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, okay, which mentioned that whoever in Sirrul Asrar, when he says, whoever seeks istighatha through his worries and distress and his hardships, and calls out to me, man istighatha bi, that whoever seeks istighatha through him for his distress and worries, this will be removed and worried. Obviously I have to mention him. Now come back to me. And what I'd like to ask is it permissible now for the people of Ahlul Gaza, or those who are living in Al-Gaza, to seek aid and istighatha Not by using an intermediary, because linguistically it doesn't work. And according to when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions al-istighatha in numerous ayats in the Quran, it doesn't mean an intermediary. So if we go by your understanding, right, for you mustaghithin, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, can he assist the people of Gaza to remove their worries? So all the worries financially, all this, agony that's been caused by the blockade. If someone from the people of Gaza faced towards Baghdad and took 7 to 11 steps, okay, after praying that salat of raka'atayn and reciting Surah Al-Ikhlas after Fatiha 11 times, sending salawat, and then mentioning Shaykh Abdul Qadir, etc., and does istighatha through him, okay, and then his needs will be fulfilled. Based on that placard, as you can see on screen, right, because this is obviously referring to those who are able, right, but you believe Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani is able. You can do istighatha through him directly. So, come back to me now. Is it permissible, or is it totally acceptable, and would it be fulfilled based on your understanding, that if one from the people of Gaza actually requested their needs from Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, because he said it allegedly himself, right, and you also believe that you could seek istighatha through him directly, what istighatha be, okay, seeking istighatha through him directly, not any third party. So my istighatha video is elaborative, and obviously it's about an hour and a half or 2 hours from what I remember. So that will go into in much detail, okay, very expansive and elaborative. I would ask it again, because I need to drill this home. According to those mustaghithin who believe in istighatha, mubasharatan, man istighatha bi, okay, man istighatha bi, as per the statement here, fi qurbatin, for his distress and his worries and his agony, etc. And the people of Gaza raise their hands and say, Ya Ghawth, or Ya Qutubuddin, or Ya Muhyiddin, or whatever, things you say, okay, would that be totally acceptable? And can Shaykh Abdul Qadir, that's the other question, it's a 2-part question, can they do that first of all? You would say yes, why not? Because that's what you believe, okay? So the second question is now, is Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, or can Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani remove their distress, remove their worries, remove their hardships, if they seek his istighatha, seek his relief and aid? Can Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani do it? Yes or no? That's what I want to ask. Okay, because I really want to know. I'm just asking the question. And I stress, no one has the ability to remove your worries, hardships, agony, distress, grant you wealth, grant you prosperity, give you children, remove your sicknesses, remove your illnesses, distress, anxiety, depression. Only Rabbul Alameen. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only Rabbul Alameen. Only Allah, the Lord of the heavens, has the ability to remove your worries, your anguish, your stress, your anxiety, whatever it may be. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only our Lord, our Rabb, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. Why are you using these fabricated stories, etc., to propagate this? Fear Allah Azza wa Jal, please. So, that's the end of the video. Until the next one, take care. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad.
ليس الغريب غريب الشام واليمن إن الغريب غريب اللحد والكفن إن الغريب له حق لغربته على المقيمين في الأوطان والسكن سفر بعيد وزاد لن يبلغني وقوتي ضعفت والموت يطلبني ما أحلم الله عني حيث أمهلني وقد تماديت في ذنبي ويسترني تمر ساعة